Hello and welcome to another unboxing video. Today we are looking at the Ranger Fone S18. Alright, let's get started. This is designed for people who like nature, who like to go out rock climbing, hiking, trekking, and pretty much everything outdoorsy. If you want to cycle, if you want to go anywhere that's going to have some kind of tough landscape, this is the phone to take with you. Why? Because it can be dropped from 1.8 meters and nothing would happen to the phone. As you can see, it's already in its own little case. In the box, you get the phone, you get a charger cable, so standard micro USB charger cable, you get a European plug, which obviously isn't going to help me in the UK, so I'll just use one of my own, and you get a pair of headphones. The data cable is actually a lot thicker than the kind of cables you'd receive with most phones. The fact that you get a European charger is not a bad thing, but I'll leave that in the box for now. The headphones seem pretty cheap. I mean, they're not really anything to write home about. They're very light, they feel plasticky, but you'll probably utilize them because if you're out hiking, you're not going to want to wear a pair of expensive headphones, so these might do the job. Alright, let's get on to the phone. Okay, so the phone is IP68 certified. IP stands for ingress protection, which is actually how well protected is this phone from the elements. The 6 and the 8, they mean that it's dust tight, and also it can be immersed in water beyond 1 meter. Good news. The screen is a 4.5 inch QHD 960 by 540 pixel display, standard IPS, and it actually comes with a screen protector pre-installed. Let's peel that off. Ooh. They pre-install one for you, which is great because I hate putting on screen protectors. I always end up getting it wrong. The phone actually has a 5 megapixel camera at the front and a 13 megapixel camera at the back. Let's just take the sticker off. There we go. It weighs 248 grams, which some people might find heavy, but you know, it's a small price to pay for a phone that's almost indestructible. Before I get started, I'm going to need to take off these 2 screws to get this back plate off so I can insert my SIM card. You don't need anything special. I'm going to just use the 5p coin. Just pop it in and turn. And that's the inside. So this is a 3500 milliamp battery, so I'm hoping this lasts at least a couple of days on a full charge. And there we have it. So inside you have a dual SIM setup. So you've got the normal SIM, you've got the micro SIM, and then you've got an SD card reader as well. So let's get this loaded up. Alright, so I've got my micro SIM. I'm just going to pop that into the SIM 2 slot. All you've got to do is pull this thing down, lift it up, pop the SIM card in, push this back down, slide it up, and you are away. And what I'm going to do now is pop the battery back in. And now we can just screw this up. When tightening these up, just ensure you do tighten as much as possible because you don't want it to be loose. Now before I turn this on, I just want to go through some of the buttons that are on here. So you've got your standard volume up, volume down buttons. Along the top, there's nothing other than a headphone port. And on this side, you've got 2 function buttons. You've got the power button, and then underneath, you've got your USB charging port. So these are fully covered, and you will need to ensure that you put them back in properly every time you finish with it, just to make sure that it is, again, dustproof and waterproof. Okay, let's turn this on. I'm hoping it's got some charge. It has. And there we have it. So you're in. There we go. Is that better? I think you guys can see that now. Awesome. Okay, so you get Android 5.1 pre-installed. Doesn't seem to be any bloatware on here that I can see. Android itself with the processor, very snappy. You can see everything is extremely smooth. If I scroll in between, you know, all the different options and settings, it is very quick, which is actually something that I was really hoping for. This phone's only £119, so that's a huge bonus. Alright, so we're going to take some photos. Okay, so we'll start with the 5 megapixel camera. And I'll put that on screen so you guys can see what it looks like. Let's turn this over. See how quickly we can get a... So as you can see by some of the camera shots that I've put up, the 30 megapixel camera is not too bad. It's a little bit grainy, it doesn't do too well under low light situations, but in the sunlight you still get a lot of the detail. It's not going to be anything comparable to a standard point and shoot. It's just not designed for that. But if you're on the field, like if you're a construction worker, you just need to take a quick snap while you're out and about, this will work just as well. You're paying for a budget phone. It's £119. There is something on here. I don't know if you guys can see the name of it. Multi-angle view mode. Now when you take a picture of something, it actually tells you that you have to spin the camera around, and it actually takes a picture as you're moving around and then puts that into one image. You've then got the panorama shot. You've got a motion tracking picture available. If you want, you can do live photo mode, and the last one is the standard switch to photo. Alright, so just to summarize, you get a European plug, you get a decent USB cable to charge with, you get a pair of headphones which seem kind of cheap, but I won't be using those, and then there's the phone. Now the phone provides you with a lot of functionality in terms of the speed. This comes with a quad-core processor which would be comparable to a Snapdragon, I think it's a 410. Is it worth £119? Actually it is. This is definitely worth £119. The fact that it's water resistant and it's actually dust resistant means it's pretty much indestructible. Is this a good phone? Yes. It's waterproof and dust proof, which makes it an excellent choice if you're going out and about, if you like to hike, etc. If you do get it muddy, just stick it under the tap and wash it off. Alright, another good one. Thanks for watching.